what we've been waiting for. Nicolette MASHILE, right here, in my presence and environment. How are you doing?
Girl, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm tired.
You're tired.
I've been up since 5. Oh, baby. The only thing that's really keeping me together is the fact that my makeup is still looking fine.
Definitely.
Still find a husband in Botswana.
The lace is still melted. It's good. It's everything is on fleek. I love your crown.
Thanks, baby.
Wow. Is that the money crown?
You know, I say to my sister, I said, you need to give me like an outfit that kind of like transcends between where I am in my life right now. Because you know, people just don't take me seriously. So now so that people can start taking me seriously. So the crown is to demonstrate that I'm transcending in life.
Right.
You know, metamorphosis. So some biology, you didn't do biology.
No, I did. I did.
So metamorphosis is like when the moth turns into the butterfly or whatever it's called. Okay. That's essentially what I'm trying to do.
Correct. You call yourself the financial bunny. Please do tell us, where does the bunny come? Like, I'm actually very intrigued. Why bunny?
So, because the only other option was a financial pig, which is what is generally the animal that's used. So even when the kiddies are given like their little money box, it's in a piggy bank.
Right.
And I'm like, Yeah. Pig is just not where I want to be, right? It's just messy.
Dirty.
So I decided I wanted an animal that was fluffy, that people want to go towards.
Definitely.
And a bunny is that.
Yeah.
Except for the people that eat them. Stop eating bunnies.
How?
Okay? Apparently it's good meat though, I must tell you.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's really great meat. So I decided to be the financial bunny really because I wanted to make it clear that finance and financial literacy and financial education capability, everything is accessible and you want to go towards it. Nobody wants to go towards a pig.
Nobody. Dirty, filthy, can't keep money.
Ribs
and everything. Absolutely love that. You are a social media star, right? I do consider you one with a very large following. Please do tell us what inspired your line of content.
Sure. I always tell people this and I'm like, people think I'm married to money and married to this idea of financial literacy, right? And I really am not. I think what I'm married to is being a teacher. I actually was a teacher in 2012. I taught at the King's School, West Rand, and I taught little kids. And what really inspired me is that when you teach somebody who is keen and has a willingness to learn, it really just lands, right? Both my parents were also teachers at some point. So I think for me, it was matching my talents. So I talk a lot. That's just who I am, right? And I really get excited about engaging with people. And I'm gonna tell you what's funny though. When I get invited to be a speaker or an MC or like host something, the drive there, I want to kill myself. Because I'm like, why did you say yes to this? Oh my, I get social anxiety. Like I lose my mind. I'm like, oh God, and then the moment I interact with people, then it's like some spirit in me like awakens. Then I'm like excited because people are exciting, right? So I wanted to kind of match the two, my passion for speaking, but also what am I going to speak to people about? And then I had to find something that's impactful. And finance was that. And I remember doing a video outside. I had just let go of my job and they had actually taken away the key from me. Boo. And I had to wait for somebody to come open for me. So I sat in there and I did a video and I posted it on Facebook and I was talking a little bit about how I didn't pass my degree at Rhodes and oh my goodness. But on the other side, from working very hard, I had managed to amass certain things, certain real estate, and people kind of clung to that, and they were like, "How did you do it?" And that's how I actually found the niche. It really found me. It was not me finding it.
We do it again. I love that. How fosadilo because the one I
No, we do as people.
Oh, I love that. So also you mentioned that you're a very social person. Does your social battery not run out at any point?
I'm not social. Please don't get lied to.
Okay.
I'm not social at all.
You do talk a lot.
Somebody said to me, where is this? Who watches your channel? So that I need to be clear on what I'm saying next. But anyway, somebody made me a bumped into me at Rockets. I find myself at Rockets.
Okay.
And then they said to me, you saw, what's that English word? But aloof. They sent me a text the next day and said, oh, we saw you at Rockets, but you're so aloof. Now, basically, aloof means you are unapproachable, right? It means like you are like, nobody wants to talk to you. And I was like, me, and hold me. But that's the thing, when I'm in large spaces, I have real social anxiety. Like,
Really?
I get so stressed. I'm like, what am I going to say? Oh my God, they're going to judge me.
Yeah.
Who are these people? Oh, what if they don't laugh at my jokes? Because I'm not funny. You know, I'm generally not a funny person. And also, I think I've been typecasted. You work in television, you know how it goes. You get typecasted. So people think every time she opens her mouth, she's going to talk about investments,
Yes.
finance. And I'm like, no, I have a range, guys. You're funny.
Yeah.
Just because I told you I wasn't funny doesn't mean I'm not funny.
Yes.
Get to experience me, you know?
Definitely.
So that's my thing. I feel like my social battery doesn't run out because I'm energized by people. But the moment I walk out of here, I'm gonna say, oh, I'm so tired. But if I walk into a room like this, my energy just picks up because human beings are exciting. Like, there's so much about you that just gives me those vibes. Also, you gotta be high vibrational. I'm not going to have social battery if we're not all low vibration.
You know?
Yeah, so
you know, you can
I work
even
on
feel
energy.
it. You know what I mean? That's very true, because I'm also like that, you know. I'm very big on energy. If it's not working,
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
No,
You know. But I absolutely loved your speech earlier on today. It was absolutely amazing. I took away a lot of that. But what I want to do for today, right now, with you, make the best of this moment.
Okay.
Okay, because you spoke a lot about finance, but we want to get to know Nicolette.
Red
But
flag.
but for now, we just want to know what you feel was the biggest milestone in your career. You know, when you felt like, yeah, here things are going according to plan, and what had sacrificed for yourself to actually achieve that?
Sure, I have so many of those, but I think I'll take it back to even before my career. I think passing my first degree was really important because, as I said, I went to Rhodes University and I failed my first degree. And you know, the thing about failing is that you feel like everybody knows you're a failure.
Yes.
And to pick yourself up and to go again and try again is absolutely hard. And I think when I passed and I got my degree conferred, it was a reminder to me that nothing is impossible, that I wasn't stupid, that I had it in me to be able to do something like that. And I think also because education is quite big for my family. My father absolutely loves educated children. He doesn't have time, and he will just throw educated chats at you just to see whether you are alive.
Yeah.
You know, even now, my father expects all of us to watch current affairs. Please don't be a child in my father's house who doesn't know what's happening in the news, because he will make an embarrassment out of you. So I think passing my first degree was absolutely important to me. Because I remember my dad saying to me, your peers are going to leave you behind. Because they're going to be able to do things that you cannot do because you decided school is not for you. And when I speak about school, it's not always going to be about formal schooling. I think we've taken away the value of education from people. And we often say, yeah, but there are hustlers out there that are doing it without school. Yeah, they may be doing it without a formal school, but they've educated themselves, right? And I think it's important. I think we must never ever downplay the importance of learning and having a learning mentality. And I think that's always been my biggest achievement or biggest, milestone, is continuously learning. And I remember, actually, I always tell people, one of the best things about working on Daily Theatre was not being on television. I didn't care for being on television, right? I was going on the camera somewhere eventually. Right?
You knew. It was just a matter of time.
Come on, But the reason why I loved the Daily Theatre was because Daily Theatre, on a daily basis, for 60 minutes, we had to carry a show about a topic I knew nothing about. Literally. But script is we're talking about baobabs tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now you gotta go read
about the baobab.
Yeah. How does it grow?
Yeah.
In which environment? So it gave me an opportunity to learn so much about so many different topics. But what made it even more special was you would sit with a group of guests who gave you different perspectives. And I think for me, learning will always be my milestone. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. You are a social media person. She's got a YouTube channel, a fantastic Instagram page that informs us all about finance. And it's got challenges, of being such a, it's very easy to spot you in a crowd. Your personality is very out there. Have you ever had challenges of pretending or having to be someone else because you saw so-and-so making it? For example, you saw Rafiwa making it and we're in the same industry. So maybe let me try do this like Rafiwa, and then, have you ever faced that?
You know, I think I was lucky. And I'll give you 2 instances where social media humbled me. The first time social media humbled me, somebody came on my YouTube channel and said to me, "Oh, you speak about money every day. Why don't you fix your teeth?"
Ooh.
But they did me a favor because I did get Invisalign and look at me now. Paid for the smile.
Yeah.
And I guess from that day, I knew that I had to be Nicolette at all times. But I was also lucky that nobody in South Africa at the time when I started, whether it was in television or whether it was on YouTube, was doing what I was doing. So I almost had the opportunity to just script the script as I wanted it to be. However, there's always going to be a time when you aspire to be like a someone, right? In terms of their journey, in terms of how they've walked, and you know, some of the stuff that they've done, you just want to do and you want to do better. So I think, there's always going to be times when there are people that I look up to and I'm like, you're amazing. And I must tell you who that person is.
Yes.
Jake White. And I know it's crazy. People only tell them it's Jake White. They're like, what? Jake? So Jake White is a former Springboks coach.
Okay.
Now, what the Springboks have been able to do is exceptional. But it needed to start with somebody. And the foundation for me was laid by Jake White. And forget that he's male. Forget that he's a white man. Forget all of that. And just listen to that man and how he strategizes. And that's what I've always been anchored on. Then I had an opportunity to watch Simon Sinek speak about infinite and finite games. So basically he explains how he bumped into the guys at Microsoft and they were launching this, I think it was during the iPod, but Microsoft is something else, I can't remember what the product was. And they had a fantastic operating system on this thing. It was absolutely fantastic. But he says throughout their entire presentation of launching this thing, they kept saying how better it is than Apple.
Yeah.
And then he speaks about meeting the guys at Apple and he tells them this conversation and he's like, you know, actually, the Microsoft product is better than yours. And the guys were like, we know. The Apple guys were like, no, showcase. We know. But you know what? We're not competing against Microsoft, we're competing against ourselves.
Correct.
And that, for me, changed my life. And I stopped looking at other people and what they're doing and benchmarking myself against them. I started benchmarking myself against Nicolette. So I have goals. I will tell you, I have goals. I know exactly what. When people ask me, why did you leave South African TV? It's because I'm no longer for South African television.
Oh.
I'm for the CNNs of this world.
I
want to go to the BCCs. I want to go to the Bloombergs of this world. South Africa has been great. It's done its job. And I appreciate it. Mara, yes. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the benchmark, I'm not playing a finite game. It does not end. I'm playing an infinite game. And every day the goalpost changes. The goalpost keeps changing. And I love that. It's an environment that's uncomfortable for me, but it absolutely serves me because I know I get to lebelela mang le mang gore o dirang. Ke shebile gore Nicolette progress a bjang. And that for me is absolutely important.
True. You know, in the social media space as well, you spoke about ego and everything. Maybe have you, because I don't know if we asked you this in the audience questions, that have you ever felt the need sometimes to be like, hey, like in the...
I told you both stories.
Isn't there any other story?
No, there are many. There are many. I have an ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? I think we all have it.
Yeah.
There's going to be that little part in your life. It might not be an elevated stage where you're doing it. It might not be in an elevated place, but it exists. All of us. And the thing is, you can't know yourself and not have an ego, bro. Come on, like, who are you? You gotta know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your ego needs to be healthy, though. Your ego shouldn't be about other people. Your ego should be about you, right? People always talk about humility. I'm not going to lie to you. This whole thing about being humble or humble yourself. Why am I humbling myself? Explain to me why I'm humbling myself. What does humility do for me? Me, even God knows I'm not going to be humble because He gave me the talents.
Yeah, He gave you this personality.
Do you get what I'm saying?
He made you know.
He made me like this.
Yeah.
So I do think that, yes, your ego is yours and it should be yours and it should not be at the detriment of others.
That's very
It should not be to injustice others. It should not be to break and pull people down. It should be you reminding yourself that, listen, I know who this girl is. And I know what this girl can do. And sometimes your ego saves you. Because sometimes,
yeah.
But you need a little bit of that confidence and that ego to say, I can MC this.
Yes.
Because you don't stand up in front of 600 people,
And
first
just
and
say,
foremost, who are financial advisors in South Africa, or most of the financial advisors, 80% of them are white old males. To stand in front of them and tell them that their process and approach to financial products is whack. To tell them that the financial system in South Africa is an injustice to the black child. To stand in that room, you have to have some balls. And the thing is, for me, it was the ego that put me there. I knew if somebody had just made a sound at that point and I got off track with what I had practiced to say, I was going to shrivel. When you burn a piece of paper and then it just does this and then it dies, that was going to happen to me. But my ego
kept you going. I absolutely love that. And you're right, we have to use our ego, we have to understand it and use it so that we don't offend, the next person. Which is what I want to ask, that, social media has been a big thing. It is a big part of our lives, and we have instances where girls show hore bone, they go to Dubai, like you were saying, every December. Oh! They go to these expensive holiday excursions and everything. And then me, I'm just a student. We live the same lives, but when you can afford to go to Dubai. And there's that financial pressure that's being, exuded off of social media. And how would you, educate young girls to go about that?
So I have a little sister, and if I could take her off social media, I would.
Right.
Social media distorts reality.
True.
And I always explain it with this, and I think I heard it from someone else and I just made it my own, right? You see the way you look today? Oh, nice. Cute.
Thank you. I just tried, a little bit.
Just, clean up.
Just a little bit. I'm fixing my teeth as well,
I love it. Yes. So, in reality, if you posted a picture of yourself today, you could pull 10,000 likes, right? But let's be honest. I mean, today there was almost 300 women in that room.
Yeah.
Did all of them say you look nice?
No.
They didn't. And that's a distortion that social media often creates, right? You're not gonna get 10,000 people walking up to you and saying, "Oh, we really like your outfit today. Oh, you look nice today." Oh, it's that dopamine that comes instantly. And the problem with that is that is not what the real life looks like.
Yeah.
And we often have to remind people, it's not young people only, we often have to constant reminder that that is not reality.
Social pressure exists in many levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even our mothers, their social pressure.
Yeah.
When is Nicolette going to be picked from the shelf so she can get married?
Yeah.
That is my mother's biggest pressure right now.
Right.
What can she do? If she could pair me up with a man, she would. Because that's her soul. So it's important to be very aware of what reality is and what social media shows you. Because also, social media and the people who created it are very smart. It's got an algorithm. It will show you what you like. Go to your explore page right now. We'll know what you look for in social media.
Yes.
Because your explore page tells us. So it's important also that at the same time, while social media is a social construct, we as human beings make it what it is. So at some point, we're gonna have to stop and say, you know what? We need to start looking for the right things on social media. We need to start consuming the right things on social media. So I think for me, to draw back and not go the long way to your response, one, social media is not always going to be real. These girls who are going to the Dubai, some of them are taking themselves there, some of them are not taking themselves there. You don't know what the cost is of going to Dubai. Whether it's monetary or whether it is bodily or whether it's mentally, whatever the cost is, you've got to ask yourself if I'm willing to pay it. That's number one. Or number three, wherever we are now.
Yeah.
But the most important thing, stop jumping the stage. And I tell my little sister that all the time. Jump the stage. There will come a time where you can go to Dubai and you will afford it. And it's over manhati go to Dubai. This time right now is not the time. You are at a thing called amassing stage in your life. You must amass wealth. Right now, as Nicolette, and this is not gonna sound, this should not sound like a brag. I know that when you tell people your real life, people think it's a brag. No, it's not a brag, it's my real life.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s, I lived in Johannesburg. For almost 5 years, I did not know what Sandton City looked like. I had no business going to Sandton City. I was sharing with a friend. My take home was 50,000 Rand. But I was sharing with a friend. We didn't even have a TV. Our couches were so beat up. If you walked into our house, you would laugh.
Yeah.
But I knew why. I needed to invest. I needed to grow my portfolio. Now I can change jobs. If I decide not to work this month, I'll be job.
Yeah.
Because the assets I have built and I have bought pay me. So that's why there will come a time where you can do all of these things. Don't rush them. Because it's different. Now you are in your 30s, you can afford to go to Dubai. I also have Dubai because if it's because when you are there having to pay for it with your board.
Yes.
Do you understand?
That's the thing.
So I think it's also very important. And look, I always say shout out to the young ladies who are doing well because they really are. Young women, young men are doing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
You know, we are meeting young people who have like crazy portfolios and asset classes that you've never even heard of. They've got the most brilliant minds. And I'm like, high five to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where you are. So everybody needs to know, where am I? As me, Nicolette. Where am I in life? You can't, how old are you?
I'm 20.
You can't take a 20-year-old, when I go chapter 20,
Yeah.
I go chapter 35.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? Enjoy your chapter 20. That's where you are. Enjoy it. Live it. Chapter 35.
Yeah.
Comparing yourself with someone who's chapter 35. Trying to be like someone who's at chapter 35. Listen, because I have trauma. I have traumas that you don't have.
Yeah.
But you are putting yourself in a space where you are now wanting to be part of those traumas.
Yes.
So that's why I always say, young people, be young. Be young and enjoy youth. Apply for everything. I always say to my listeners, apply to get out of South Africa. What are you doing in South Africa?
Yeah.
If I could go back, I probably would have never lived in South Africa. I would have left South Africa long ago. Go out the country. Go see what other people are doing, how they are living. Being well-traveled is a cultural flex. You need to be well-traveled. This is a question, where was the last time you went out of the car? You've never been out. I don't have a passport. No, you must be... And those things, you and your friends, I always say young, and I speak to young women now.
Yeah.
Young women, get together with your friends. Imagine the young students, you running a business on campus, you're saving your monies, then you take your money, young trip to Mozambique. It doesn't involve boys inside. Boys will come, they don't go away, these people.
They're here.
They're always here. And because you know men don't compromise. They don't compromise. They don't take bottom of the barrel. No, but aim at there. You are now punching above your weight. So they will always be there. Are you the person that you are wanting to be, or are you compromising yourself because you want to involve yourself in things you should not be in?
And you're very right, because I think that's what we also, I'll be very honest, that I struggle with that as well. Just enjoying the chapter that I'm in, because what I have now is what I dreamed of ever since I was a little girl. But I can't enjoy it right now because I'm looking at what Nicolette is doing right now in her 35th chapter, like you're saying. So it's a psychological game that we need to,
But it's because you're not planning.
Okay.
Give yourself an opportunity to plan. Say, okay, I am at 20, Nicolette is at 35. I like where Nicolette is. And there's nothing wrong with liking where the person who's at chapter 35 is, right? Because it's also drawing inspiration sometimes, right? But you have to realize that Nicolette also needed to go to 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 28. Ask me at 28 what was going on. What's our yay, baby? Nicolette tough.
Yeah.
Right? So plan it so that you're progressing towards the chapter 35 or whatever is at chapter 35. You could even do better. Forget trying to get at 35. Get it at 30. Get it at 28.
True.
Right?
True. Get
it when you can, but you got to plan towards it. Wishful thinking brings nothing. To the wish you want to be like someone else will bring you nothing, but to plan for it, you will get there.
Absolutely love that. I do. So how have you managed to balance, luxury life if you do?
Not gonna luxury life. Guys, the wealthy don't look like money. They have money. That's the most childish thing I've ever heard. But apparently, the wealthy don't wear and drive and live in their money.
There's this thing that I've heard all over. They say people say you should not save, but you should invest. Yeah. So my I think it was my mom's friend. She had told me that sometimes we waste our money saving for something because life is life. Life happens. You gave us that time frame that you can save for when I'm 28 I'm gonna get a car, and then life happens in these years. Maybe you fall pregnant, you get a child. So I want to know as well, I receive a little 1.9 from the government. How can I go about saving that, investing it? What can I do for somebody my level to,
I just want to comment on you saying I get a little 1.9 from the government. Because South Africa, but how sharp are we? Not a grant 350, and not grant 1.9. And then you can call it a little bit.
A little bit.
Hey, ma'am, please. I love perspective, because perspective is such an important thing, right? Look, I think the saying don't save, invest is very noble.
Okay.
And I get where it comes from. It's just the framing is incorrect, right? The framing should never be don't waste your time saving, invest. I know Robert Kiyosaki always says saving is for losers. Wait until the day you walk into your house and the garage door falls
on you.
And now when you call the call out people, they say it's $5,000 and your money is tied up in assets. You're going to be what we call assets rich but cash poor. Now there's no great life in that. Property, but they can't pay for their meal today.
Yes.
Because your money is tied up there in illiquid assets. That's the reality.
Okay.
The reality is we can't keep saying to everybody, and also remember, you can't say to the person who can only put away 100 or 200 pula that you should only invest, because they're gonna get frustrated. 100, 200 pula is not going to change your life if you are investing it, because you'll have to invest it for a very long time. And the reality is, human beings, as we want to see results, and we want those results to happen quickly.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a time to save, and there's going to be a time to invest. And I say this with a pinch of salt, because you can't invest if you can't save. Saving, so I teach kids and I say, when you earn money, imagine you're earning 10 apples. 8 of those apples, I don't care what you do with. 8 of them.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do with these 8 apples.
Yeah.
These 2 apples are holy. The one goes into the deep freezer. This is what we call saving. The reason why you put in the deep freezer is, let's say next month you need 9 apples. The problem is you go next door to borrow an extra apple. They can charge you that apple at whatever they want.
Yeah.
Because I'll know
Yes.
anyway talk.
Yes.
So that's why you must save. The last apple, you gotta grow it. It's called investing. So you gotta go outside, you gotta plant it, and every single month you plant. Now you're not going to come when you have a crisis. You're not going to go pull out that little plant, that apple tree that's trying to grow. Same way, if someone is pregnant, you don't rock up to them after 4 months and say,
yeah.
You know you're gonna wait for 9 months, right? You know you're gonna let the tree bear some fruit before you rip it out of the ground.
Yeah.
But now if you're in trouble, you're gonna be forced to prematurely pull that because you didn't save. So if you've got no apples in the deep freezer, but you need an extra apple, you either have to go borrow at a cost, and cost of borrowing is high, especially when you are desperate, because people can give you anything and you can't negotiate. Or you gotta go and prematurely pull your apple tree that has not
born.
You get what I'm saying? So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
However, and I say this again, there's a time to save and there's a time to invest. Teach yourself to save first so that you can actually start investing, because investing is long term.
Yeah.
And if you can't even keep money for 12 months, go to savings, for 5 years.
Yeah. Definitely. I do hear you. That's great advice. We were joined with the financial bunny, imparting knowledge onto us young women, or actually women of all ages. You know, there's a lot to learn from you. With you, thank you so much, for just being so free-spirited and joining me on the interview with Career Forum. Please do say bye. Anything you want to say to the young women, women in general, women everywhere, not just in finance, but women around the world?
It's okay to be confused about whatever career you're in right now. I promise you, it is absolutely okay.
Yeah.
I studied communications. I did my postgrad diploma in business administration. I have a diploma in sports management. I did something in debt counseling. You can be confused and it's all good. It will come together. What is meant for you will never ever miss you. I promise you that. But you've got to start. Greatness lies at the feet of starting. A lot of people's dreams literally die in their heads. They've written it out in notes in their phones or in their diaries because they never start.
Yeah.
Don't overwhelm yourself. Let's literally break it down into munchable pieces. In Afrikaans, on say, who eat ye an olifant? I know this is Botswana, you might not understand what I'm saying, but the question I'll translate is, who eat ye an olifant? How do you eat an elephant? And the answer is always happy for happy. And in English, it's bite for bite.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on Career Forum. And we wrap it up with the one and only financial bunny. You look stunning today because I really can't get over the hat. I absolutely love it.
My sister made this entire outfit.
Oh, really?
Shout out to Roka Roko.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching.